What's going on, party people, and welcome back to NerdWide Podcast. This is episode 29, and I'm your host, Tyler Haynes, and this is my favorite co host right here beside me, Mr. Chris Rivers. Now, Chris, how have you
How's it going,
been?
Tyler?
It's well, man.
Yeah.
It's been a busy week, work wise, life
Mm-hmm.
wise, and more importantly, news wise, as far as TV, movies, and games. I mean, between Netflix Geek Week and E3, we have already hit a bunch of fun news that relates to this podcast. And E3 is not even over yet. We're halfway through it
Right. Yeah.
by the time
Yeah.
of this recording, at least. I mean, we still have Capcom today on Monday, and Nintendo's the big thing tomorrow on Tuesday, which I would put my entire life savings. We're getting a Nintendo Switch Pro or Super Nintendo Switch, whatever they're going to call it. I would put my entire life savings on it. Not make any money back, but I'd still, you know. But
Yeah.
guys, this.
It.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah. It's been a very long week. I've watched so many conferences, and it's just,
I'm so proud
yeah.
of you. I can't wait to get into it. It's going to be a lot of fun with a lot of stuff to talk about. But first, we got to get into our housekeeping part of the show. Don't forget to subscribe to either our YouTube or podcasting services, whichever one of your choice that you watch or listen to. If you enjoy the show, make sure you leave a thumbs up on YouTube or give us a good rating on any of your podcasting services. If you don't enjoy what you see or hear, make sure you write us a comment or a review. Let us know what you don't like about it so we can improve the show for you. If you do want to go the extra little mile, you can always go to patreon.com/nerdwide and give us a couple of bucks that way for exclusives that we can do for you there. And if you just want to help out the show more. But Chris, I want to get into our TV section. We've got to talk about a little show that premiered this week. Nothing big. It's not a big one. But first, I want to find out what you've been watching this week.
Actually, just probably 2 or 3 hours ago, I watched a little documentary on Netflix called "The Battered Bastards of Baseball."
Mmm.
You should check this out.
Yeah, how's it going?
It's uh, it's a really good one. So the basic story is that in the early 70s, the Portland Beavers minor league baseball team relocated to Spokane, Washington, right? Portland had no baseball.
Mm.
And so this guy named Bing Russell decided he was going to pay the $500 fee to enter the Northwest League as an independent team with no major league affiliation, which you can't do now. And he was going to start an independent team. And he put an ad out in Sporting News, open tryouts. People came from all over the country to try out for this independent team. They had over 300 people show up, and they ended up contending pretty much every year. I think they made the playoffs every year.
Mm.
And these were all people that had either washed out of baseball or never played Major League Baseball or pro baseball. Um, but he was able to take that gamble. He had gotten into acting and played the role of deputy for 13 seasons on a little show called Bonanza.
Mm. Never heard of it. I'm just kidding.
So,
I've heard of that
yeah.
show. Yeah.
You've probably heard of his son, Kurt Russell,
Oh,
who
you're
also
interesting.
played who also played for the team. Um, so that was kind of cool. He's in the documentary. They keep going back to him for little bits about the history. And Bing Russell's grandson, one of Kurt Russell's sister's kids, was Matt Franco, who
Mm.
used to play for the New York Mets, and I think he played for the Pirates
Uh
for a
huh.
while. Um, so a very successful family. But there's a lot more info there, um, in Bing Russell's background and in things that happened, the way he was forced out by Major League Baseball.
Sounds
So
about right.
yeah, well, they basically had the team that left relocate back to the city and push him out.
Yeah,
So
because they wanted their money.
yeah,
That sounds about accurate.
but definitely a good documentary. It's on Netflix, so
So you've
check it
been
out.
uh, you've been watching a bunch of documentaries on Netflix here these past couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm a documentary guy.
Yeah.
If I can't think of anything to watch,
I know I want to check out The Social Dilemma. Although I'm
hmm
really scared to watch that, but I know I've been wanting to check it out. It's been on my list for a while because I want to know how
yeah.
much I'm controlled by, you know, because it's gonna be a lot.
The prob yeah. The problem with some of the shows is I want to binge them and get them done with.
Yeah,
And you can't really do that if you don't have a lot of time. So documentaries are usually like an hour and a half long, and you can just go with that.
right. That's where I'm at. Well, a lot of my shows I've already binged while working, and like this week I've only watched a couple episodes of Young Justice on HBO Max because I don't. There's nothing right now that I have not yet watched, or if I want to watch it, it's something I want to put all my attention into and binge it, not just kind of have it playing. But Young Justice, I've watched a couple of episodes. I'll probably hold off on it. It's just not really catching my interest right now, especially with all the E3 conferences that started up on Thursday last week.
Yeah.
That's where my time's gone, and that's where it's going to go today and tomorrow and Wednesday. So, but
Right.
other than that, Chris, I want to get right into our show. We're not going to really do a big, I've got the spoilers tag up. I won't do a whole hero cravings of Superman and Lois and then a Loki show due to the time constraints that I've had this week. Like all day Saturday and Sunday was nonstop E3 coverage and conferences. So I didn't get really to sit down the time and watch these shows like I usually do. But let's talk about Superman and Lois, episode one, season one, episode nine, Loyal Subjects with a K. Ratings wise, was a 0.20, which was up 0.14. Well, was just up from 0.14 of last week. This episode, we got a lot more info. I felt like the ending of it was rushed where we find out Morgan Edge is a Kryptonian. And I feel like that was thrown way too fast at us. And I was like, there was no really build up for this. But
Uh,
it's
There, there, there there really wasn't. Don't get me wrong. Hell of a way to end the
yeah,
episode.
that was a great way.
You know, it's like, well, okay. But yeah, I thought they would string that out more. It was like he sent his goons after Lois,
Which we got the big
and
reveal that Kyle is one of them now.
yep, he's a
Shocker.
creep. Um, but he sends his goons after her. They fail one time, and he says, I'm just gonna reveal myself as Superman."
Right.
Mhm. Like that's your ace in the hole, supposedly.
Yeah.
That he doesn't really know who you are, and you just expose that. So I wonder if the break, but I don't recall them saying we're going to lose any episodes. So
Mm-mm.
I don't know. Maybe they lost an episode initially over what they thought they were going to have. CW cut them back
Yeah.
before they ever started airing, so they had to speed something up. I don't know.
It was. I enjoyed the episode. I felt like this was the one, and I think it was last week mainly where I started thinking this, that my interest is starting to wane in it because nothing's really
Oh,
grabbed me until the end of this episode. And now I feel like I'm
right.
I'm all back into it. Like the beginning of this episode, I was like, I don't really care. Like I know it's Superman and Lois, but the whole Lois parts, I'm just like, I don't care. None of it really interested me. And then
They're
we,
definitely they're definitely dragging out the
hmm
investigation. It needs to speed up.
I thought General Lane was going to die this episode, just because the way they were doing his arc. And like the whole, we see that he's got the super breath now that Jordan does. It was really cool. The reveal of it. But it again went back to Sarah, again, not interested like at all
Yeah,
in her whole
yeah,
backstory and anything. And I really feel like they're doing an injustice to Lana Lang, like our normal traditional Lana Lang. I don't feel like it's doing well. But now that we've got Kyle having Kryptonian powers, I think that's going to speed things up along that story arc as well. Especially since he went behind Lana Lang's back and said, "Yeah,
yeah,
I want part of this." And you could
yeah.
tell at the end of the episode where he was so disheveled, and he's like, I don't know what happened. He goes, I remember sitting there talking to you and Sarah at the talent show, and that's the last thing I remembered. And I woke up in a field, and I'm like, okay, so we're spinning this along, and then of course the Morgan Edge reveal that he's Kryptonian at the end. So who do you think he is?
And Kyle's ribs hurt.
Yeah.
You know that.
So clearly got in a
He
fight.
kind of had that come.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, well, Morgan Edge called Superman brother.
Mm-hmm. Do you think we're sibling to sibling, or do you think it's a
It,
Kryptonian thing?
I think he meant it Kryptonian to
Yeah.
Kryptonian. I think they left it hanging like that to make people guess, but I think it's going to be Kryptonian to Kryptonian. He's wearing a different crest
Mm-hmm.
to a different house, so I don't think it would be brother to brother.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't recall. See, that's what I was trying to think, and I didn't have time to look into it online. Have we seen that crest in other
It
Superman iterations?
it didn't look anything familiar to me because my first initial thought was, is this are they already revealing Zod in this universe?
Right,
But that's not the crest for the House of Zod, so
right.
I don't know who it is. But uh, I like it. I again terrible. Jonathan, I don't even know why he's in the show anymore because I feel like he's just a filler piece. Like Sarah was like, oh, Jordan never showed up, so he goes to the house, and we had this little emotional thing where everyone's worried about Jordan because he took him to the Fortress of Solitude. I mean, Jonathan to me is just a set piece right now. Besides when he hid the guns and shot the other Kryptonians, I'm like, why are you still
Yeah,
here? So
yeah,
they've got to
yeah.
write him
It,
better. They really do.
they really do. Right now, he's the kid. He's role reversaled with his brother, right? His
Yeah.
brother used to be the kid sulking in the corner, not talking to anybody, and now it's Jonathan. And like you've said before, he's probably going to have powers.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen something from him, a little flash of something in the past, back in the pilot. Um, but they've got to bring it along.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be a thing for him where stress is going to trigger it,
Right.
and he just hasn't reached that point yet.
Yeah, we haven't. Besides
Which
the RV scene, there's nothing really that's stressed him out or is going to cause him to do anything yet.
you would think the Kryptonians would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
when he's
oh,
backed into a
there's
corner with his
three
mom.
superpowered. Yeah, yeah. But he had the gun, so that
Yeah, had a failsafe. So I mean, I don't know. It was a good episode. The last 10 to 15 minutes of the show. The rest of it, I was
yeah.
just not interested in it. I don't know what it is, but it was that way last week too. I'm just like, I don't care.
I feel like there's characters there, like the editor of the local
Yep.
paper, uh, who in a lot of shows by this point would have been collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and like Lana would have taken over the paper, or not Lana, but Lois
Mm-hmm.
would have taken over the paper and just run it the way she wanted to run
It
it.
is. I mean, and
It's
speaking
just
like it's where when Lois barged into the Edge meeting, I was like,
mhm,
what's the point? This is not Lois Lane. Like I just didn't understand the whole point of that. Like she's so desperate, and Morgan Edge is like, obviously you're desperate, and I'm just like,
yeah.
that didn't make any sense. Like that was so just ill mannered. I felt like, and not in character. But
And what about Lana? I mean, we don't get an answer
mm-mm.
um, to whether or not she took Edge up on his offer.
She said, "Oh
I
no,
don't
I didn't take it," but like,
I don't think she would have, because she knows something weird's going on with these people. She sees how they're acting, but at the same time, I mean, let's be honest, it's a pretty tempting offer.
yeah. I mean, I would
You
take
know,
it. Because I mean, he's paying
You know,
really well. I mean, you get powers. Sure, you lose time, but whatever.
yeah.
I do that with work anyways.
I,
But yeah,
I thought it was
I'm ready for the next.
pretty good last 10 to 15, like you said.
Yeah, but so that's Superman and Lois. The next episode is "Oh Mother, Where Art Thou?" Because every season of any show is gonna have an episode titled that. I bet I could Google it and at least get 10 different shows to have "Oh Mother, Where Art Thou" episodes. Just saying. But
What do you think? Does Lois go missing? Does Lana go missing?
I think it'll be
Uh,
Lana. I think she'll go
yeah,
missing. Something to do with
because she
Kyle
maybe,
and
or she turned down the offer, and Edge is like,
yeah.
well,
You don't say no.
yeah,
Mm. But I mentioned at the beginning of the show that we watched a new TV show that nobody's really heard of. It's called Loki. And the episode was Glorious
oh,
Purpose.
yeah,
Now, haven't really heard of that one.
yeah.
Not a big show.
No, no. It popped up this week, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
let me check this
I
out.
might as well check it out. So
Yeah,
I really enjoyed this more than I thought I would. And I don't
yeah,
know if it was Tom Hiddleston's acting or if it was his, or like the whole backstory of the TVA, or if it was him and Owen Wilson together, which I
yeah,
love the Wilson brothers. So, and seeing
right.
Owen Wilson in the MCU, I hope we get more of him. I want to pull up the IMDb for this one.
There's definitely some things to talk about here.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Like,
Um, and my favorite scene, so looking at IMDb, they're at 9.1 out of 10 stars out of 20,000 reviews. And I think my favorite scene of this whole episode was the of Loki looking at his future from Avengers on, where he sees his mom die in Thor 2, and he sees himself die. He sees him getting closer with his brother in Thor Ragnarok. I think that was my favorite scene of this whole episode.
yeah,
Just the amount of emotion he showed in a minute and a half span just shows how good of an actor Tom Hiddleston is. Um,
yeah,
and I also liked how we spent 11 years dealing with the Infinity Saga, and they're just paperweights and thrown in a drawer in this show.
yeah.
Multiple of them.
Like, oh, some of the guys use them as paperweights.
Yeah, I'm just like, dude, that was so good.
Okay.
What cracked me up was like a lot of the if you have to
What's
kind
a
of
fish?
right. I don't know what a fish is. Like the multiple times that he said, "I'm a god, you can't do anything to me," and just proving how useless that was. Um,
Yeah,
I liked how so there were a lot of Easter eggs, and we'll start with those Infinity Stones. Obviously, the Infinity Stones are a big Easter egg. But if you
yeah,
notice, there were multiple ones of all the stones we've seen, but there were more time stones than there were in the other ones, obviously, because we're dealing with the Time Bureau. And then there
hmm
was only one soul stone because of how hard it is to
yeah.
make one. So I thought that was really cool how they did that. And there was also a one that I don't know if we've talked about this or sent anything. I think you actually might be the one that sent it to me of Peggy Carter being in the episode. Was that you or was that someone else? So
That might have been someone else.
so Peggy
Either that or I sent it and completely forgot about it.
so Peggy Carter was when Loki was doing his little escape or trying to escape thing, and you see him walk through a hallway. You see someone come in through a portal, being led through by a time bureau. So if you zoom in, it's speculated to be Peggy Carter. Uh, to me, it could be either Carter or Agatha Harkness from WandaVision, because it could be either one. That's what it looks like to me. So maybe I've still got the
It
spoilers
would
tag up.
make you've got good cases for both, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because because of what Wanda did, it would mess with the timeline.
Right.
And so it would make sense for them to go retrieve Agatha if that were at all possible
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, Wanda's an extremely strong, maybe the strongest witch out there
Right.
because she uses chaos magic. Um, Peggy Carter makes sense because Steve Rogers travels back to be with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, they would possibly bring her in. Doesn't make sense why they wouldn't bring him in too, but maybe we just didn't see
Right.
that. Um, this episode raised so many questions.
They do it every
I
time.
mean,
Marvel's so good about
they
that.
they apparently officially with this episode cut Agents of Shield out of the MCU.
Yep.
Um, they mentioned Coulson being killed in the battle for New York. They show it, and they never mention his resurrection.
I
Now,
really
now
thought
the
we were going
thing
to get
about it
one.
is, even though they don't mention it, and there was an article I read that pointed out it would have um, made the case against Loki for always screwing up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, we got to remember this Loki was just in 2012.
Right. I mean, it
So he
wasn't
has
even
no
24
idea
hours
what's
since.
right. He has no idea what's coming. Uh, he just left the Battle of New York. So, but again, the Time Bureau knows, or the TVA knows, um, the future. They know what's coming for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they did officially rewrite it with this. Kind of sucks,
Yeah.
but you know,
And I was hoping when they brought that moment up, I was like, maybe we see that he did screw this up, but they just stopped there. You know, you killed Loki, and I mean, you killed Coulson. That was it. I was like, okay, but I don't, I don't think the because we got the spoiler tag up and everything. The big bad villain, the time variant, is supposed to be Loki again. I don't
right.
think that's him. I think that's a scroll, if it is him. Um,
There was the scroll
yep,
in the episode.
right there at the beginning at the desk, and I don't. Everyone's saying that. Well, there's people saying that the little three time lords or whatever you want to call them that pretty much made the time variance authority. They did Kang the Conqueror is the one in the middle, which we're assuming he's the next big bad like Thanos, but he's in Ant-Man and the Wasp too. So maybe this is how they're setting that up. I mean, I don't know. There's so many questions this show is going to leave.
Well, the start of the episode um, takes place in what 1549 or
Yeah,
something like that.
way back when.
Yeah, and we see Mobius go back, and he asks this girl, this little girl, who did it, and she points to a stained glass representation of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Mephisto?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. We're going to IGN.com for this point. Loki director Kate Herron confirmed the Marvel demon Mephisto will not appear in her upcoming Disney Plus series, shooting down fan speculation that began after the demon and stained glass appeared in the trailer or in this episode. So, nope, not Mephisto.
They've got to stop messing with people like
They,
this.
I think because I mean, this was filmed before WandaVision, aired, so there's I don't feel like they know the backlash that they did with all of this. And also going into these pictures I have on my phone, if you remember the commercial from WandaVision, this isn't the first time we have heard of the word Nexus because they talked about any of
Right.
the like the things that go off of the timeline prime or whatever they called it. Is it called a Nexus? So this is not our first time hearing of
Hmm.
it. And then going into the numbers for this show and this episode, so Loki had the most popular Disney Plus Marvel premiere, streamed by 890,000 U.S. households to date, and this was on the 10th, so Thursday. The Falcon and Winter Soldier had 759,000, and WandaVision had 655,000. So Loki, obviously the most popular one.
Yeah. Um, let me ask you something. Have you come across anything substantial about the letters and numbers in the elevator?
Not yet.
I saw one article, so I clicked on it, and they were just like, "Hey, something must be up with these," and that was, I was like, "Well, yeah, that's why I was looking at it. Thanks for it's it's one that Captain Obvious must have written because that's
Right.
basically all it said.
So I'm
You know,
going.
um,
I googled in
I tr
Easter eggs. So go ahead, and I'll read all 5 of these once we get there.
I tried looking at some of the combinations. Of course, there was a one that I think had two F's in it, and I was like, "Is that some allusion to the Fantastic Four?" Um, I I was looking everywhere. I've got to go back and watch it because I'm almost positive somewhere in there are Stan Lee's initials, which
Oh,
would be
he
really cool if that's the case.
he was in it. They're saying he
Yeah.
was because there was a. Did you see the picture of like there was a
Uh-huh.
picture of a bunch of people and there's supposed to be like a 1970s Stanley in it.
Yeah.
I'm trying
But it
to.
would just be really cool if his initials were mixed in there with
Mm-hmm.
the
Did you? What cracked
labeling of
me
the
up
elevator.
was the DV Cooper one because we haven't even talked about that yet.
Yeah.
How that was a bet he lost to Thor, and that's the whole DV Cooper mystery. I thought that was great.
Which makes sense to me. That's what I'm going with from
Yeah.
now on.
This is Screen Rant. You gotta do better about Easter eggs. The things that they had on there were not Easter eggs. Uh, let's see, Loki, Thor taking the step. So when Loki landed, when the Power Stone into that desert, was a homage to Iron Man, the first one where he landed in the desert with
Okay.
his. That was an
Yeah.
homage to him. Um, let's see, his little glorious purpose speech right after that was the his line in Avengers when he landed in the desert. I am Loki of Asgard, and I'm burdened with a glorious purpose. Hence the title of the show. This episode.
Hey, can we jump back to the first one real quick?
Yeah.
When he lands in the Where did the kids come from?
Where did any of those people come from?
Well, I understand where he came from, and I understand where the TVA people came
Yeah.
from, but did I miss it? Because on the initial watch, I didn't see a village or anything right near there. It looked like
Mm-mm.
it was all open desert.
Yeah.
And
I
these
think
kids are
they
just
might have just
like,
been
"Hey, mister,
walking.
who are you?"
Yeah. They're just traveling.
Just
Uh,
for the fun of it through the desert.
right. So we talked about the scroll one already. If you look closely, you can see that Loki's variant identification number when he signed the stack is L1130. No one knows what that one is yet. When Loki's being processed, we see the Miss Minute shows the timekeepers thing. Kang is one of the time minutes lords. We saw the Nexus variant thing, which also is a callback to Endgame with the Supreme Being. She showed the timeline and she showed the variant, the Nexuses as well. Um, and during the whole Miss Minute speech as well, we see the Guardians of the Galaxy finding the Nova Corps within the Kree. So there's that. Blah, blah. Oh, Loki carrier in the comic books. Mobius. So Mobius has also interacted with Fantastic Four, She-Hulk, and Hawkeye in the comic books. The Mephisto already got shut down. Let's see. So if you notice on Loki's TVA report, if you look closely, it says sex, it says fluid, which is a callback to Norse mythology, which he is gender fluid in that. On Loki's file, it also shows his sector is 1900 to 2099, which Marvel 29 was a batch of comics that shows the future. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. We
You
see.
know uh, that L1130.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would be. I'm probably reading into it something they didn't intend, but if you take the 30 on the end and you subtract the two ones in front of it, you get 28. And I believe his first appearance in comics was Journey into Mystery 28.
See, that could be that, Chrissy.
So Loki,
I like
I
how you're
don't know.
thinking.
I'm
Uh,
probably way off.
yeah. So when Loki is pleading his case to the Time Bureau, he says that you can always smell Tony Stark's cologne. And in Avengers Endgame, Scott comments on this too by saying, "Hey, is that Axe body spray?" Same thing. We see the little time, the future. I guess the little time stream. What do you want to call it? The all the futuristic buildings that reminded me of Men in Black. I thought that was kind of cool. There a lot of these little Easter eggs are not really Easter eggs, but just kind of
They
notifications.
needed to fill the page with
Yeah,
something.
and I'm trying to find if we can. Obviously, the time stones and all the stones in the drawer. Um, ETH 616. Oh, after Loki watches his future, you can see that the film is labeled with ETH 616, which is a reference to Earth 616, which is the main Earth in the Marvel comics. Um, we see that. The weapon the Minutemen find is from the early third millennium, which is very important. In the Marvel Comics, King the Conqueror is from that era. We're assuming this is what's all linked. It's a little red spear, sword looking thing that was stuck in the ground. It's apparently from King's era. And that was it as far as like the big Easter eggs are. Which some of those are minor, but
The
that was
thing
pretty cool.
is, yeah, I mean, some of them, but for someone to take the time to sit there and slow it down and study each scene, where good on them, because
Yeah.
I don't think I have that kind of patience.
No, not me. Well, and a lot of people, it's their job too for these websites
Yeah,
to find and break this stuff. But
yeah.
I think it was a good, strong pilot episode for the show, and I'm excited to see
Mhm.
where we go from here because I like Loki, and Loki is such a we don't know with him. Like, what is he going to do? Is he going to do this? Is he going to betray people? We don't know yet, and I'm curious to see if we go to Thor Ragnarok Loki, which he still played the trickster there too. So, but who
Right.
knows?
Yeah. It'll be fun to watch for sure.
But Chris, since we are getting into Netflix Geek Week and it's both movies and TV, I know you're going to cover everything there. Would you want to go ahead and do our review of Outside the Wire before we jumped into that one?
Yeah, we can do that.
So this movie, I so first off, did you watch any other movies this week other than that documentary?
No, I didn't. I
Okay.
didn't watch any other movies.
I watched Clueless with my wife. Not the best. It's
Mm-mm.
not the best. Doesn't hold
What?
up either. My wife said it's one of her favorite
What?
shows, and she goes, no, didn't really hold up. So just the humor wasn't that good anymore. Um,
I don't. I,
so we watched Outside the Wire for this week's review, and let me tell you, I'm gonna be the first to say it. First hour and a half, good solid movie. The rest of the movie, absolutely hated it. Like it was to me, it was not good. So from the bombing on at the bank is all I will say is where it lost me. Like at the
so
go ahead.
one thing I just want to jump in real quick. Do we want to do spoiler? This came out in January.
I didn't realize it came out. Yeah, we could do spoilers. I'll put the spoiler tag back up.
Okay.
So
It's going to be a lot easier to talk about
yeah,
all the things I didn't like if I
the
can.
the
Yeah.
twist. I mean, I didn't really see coming, but I didn't like it. Like it made
I
no sense to me.
I didn't feel like it was a twist.
No, and it's what it just.
I felt like it was more a reveal, and it's one that they tell you about in advance, and you're kind of following along with Harp,
Mm-hmm.
the main character, and he's in denial of it. No, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally gets confirmation. Yeah, he's doing this, and he's like, "Oh." And he still doesn't really
Yeah,
believe
it
it
tries to give them
until
the
he
benefit of the
sees
doubt.
him doing it. And so it was this slow burn reveal as opposed to any kind of it just fizzled out. It
Mm-mm.
didn't
It
it didn't land right.
And uh, Harp is not the best guy either. Like his thing at the
No.
beginning was justified and 100% the right call, and then they punish him for it, and they knew it was the right call. And then you've got the soldiers being D-bags to him again, rightly so. But it just a lot of this movie did not make any sense to me, and a lot of it was so easy to spot. Like when they got stopped by the truck and the people were there, I was like, oh, obviously there are going to be all these people in the apartment building shooting them, and it just, I mean, it, again, like the first hour and a half up until the bank bombing was really well done and really kind of cool, especially the shooting scenes. Anthony Mackie acted his ass off and carried this movie, and
Right.
the cool little gun scenes where he's shooting through a car, he's jumping through car windows and doing everything fast. But then you get to the end, and he's betraying because he wants to blow up America. He wants to blow up his creators. And I'm like, because he wants to stop this war. I'm like, dude, come
So
on.
I I I got the message, right? The message is one that we've been in a perpetual state of war since World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And when we didn't have a live enemy to fight, it was the Cold War, right? Which gave the government all kinds of leeway to continue to stockpile weapons and take advantage of defense contracts and most of the companies of which they had stock in, so they made all kinds of money off of it. And that's kind of the message behind this is they want to continue waging war while saying they want peace. We're going to show them this is what happens with war,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that they say they want to take the human element out, but what if this android turns and annihilates a million people? And as he says, you lose a million people, but you save 100 million.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just didn't think they delivered the message that well. Like
Mm-mm.
you definitely they spell it out, but it still doesn't make because he's riding Harp earlier in the film about needing to make the right decision. You know, Harp is sent there because he made a decision that killed two Marines and presumably some civilians
Mm-hmm.
nearby. And everyone's telling him, you can't just make a decision like that. There are consequences. But and the thing that got me uh, was it Sophie or Sophia?
Sophia.
Sophia is running this. Well, she's at least there helping to organize this orphanage
Right.
of children who have lost their families to drone strikes. And she points out, she makes a couple of remarks to Harp like, this is what your actions have caused. This is what happens with war. But then you're okay with annihilating a million people with
Right.
a nuclear
The
bomb?
whole train
It
scene
doesn't make
made
any
no sense
sense.
to me. Like the whole train
If
scene with them, I was like, this is the stupidest thing. I hate it.
if if you're going to take the stand that war is bad, you don't kill a million people to make your
No,
point.
to do for the other side.
And 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 they're talking about they want to change things, right? Well, in this story, New York City is the city that's going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you target Washington?
Right.
That's where all the people are that are making these decisions.
Every time. It's never made any sense to me.
Eh, no, it doesn't line up. It doesn't. The action scenes are good. There's one scene, I think it was in the bank scene when they're initially fighting some of Koval's men, and um, oh, what is Mackey's character's name?
Leo. Captain
Leo.
Leo.
He uh, he goes through a glass window.
Yep.
And just on the other side, there's this guy crouched down, and as soon as he appears around the window, he just double taps him right in
Oh,
the head. And there's a lot of great action scenes here. I just wish they were part of a better plot.
yeah. The what I loved about this movie, there were certain things. Also, one thing, Harp kept calling him Cap and Cap did. I was like, yeah. I said, Anthony Mackie filmed all of this. I'm pretty sure he filmed this movie before Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier, and
Yeah.
and he knew he was going to
And
become Captain
he was
America.
the producer.
Yeah, and so he's like, I
He was the
knew.
producer on this.
They kept calling him Cap. I feel like that was trying to let everybody know, hey, I'm gonna become Captain America. I just thought that was cool, and I thought that was funny.
It, I did like Michael Kelly's performance in here as
Oh, I
well.
love Michael Kelly.
He plays Eckhart.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people will know him. He's done a lot of stuff, but a lot of people will know him from, um, well, the Kevin Spacey
House of
show,
Cards.
um, House of Cards.
That's where I know him
Yeah,
from.
phenomenal performance in
Yeah.
that. Like he was always just such a great character.
He played the same
Um,
character in
I
this
gave
one.
this, yeah, pretty much. I gave this 2.5 stars on Letterboxd,
Yeah, I've
which
got it
was
as a D
right
for me.
in line with, yeah, that's where I would come in at. This was right in line with what I thought, maybe a C minus, because
Yeah.
this is what I thought of Mortal Kombat. I had
Mm-hmm.
Mortal Kombat at 2.5 stars as well, so um, this is the lowest rated for me since Mortal Kombat.
Mm.
We've had a few just above that. We've had a few I put at 3. Um, but yeah,
I
I,
mean,
I it's worth a watch if you want an action shoot 'em up type movie.
yeah,
Um, with with some decent special effects. Like when he first takes his shirt off, and you're like,
that was cool.
"What in the world's going?" Yeah,
I forget how
yeah.
short Anthony
But
Mackie is.
but it's not a phenomenal film.
No.
The performances are good. It really just comes down, I think, to the writing. They paced it out for like a 2.5 hour movie with the way the first hour and a half or so was going, and then they sped up through all this other stuff without, I don't know.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but if you bomb a nuclear, 4 nuclear warheads, those are going to set the nuclear warheads off, right?
Well, yeah, the way that they did it,
Because they were getting ready
because,
to launch. The silos were open and
well,
everything.
and that's what I didn't understand, right? Because they said that the silos were away from the launch pad, or not the launch pad, but the controls
Mm-hmm.
and everything, right? Because that's what they told him. They said, yeah, if we can bomb that and shut down the launch because it's separate from the bombs, from the nukes. But then they have this shot of Anthony Mackie lying back, you know,
Watching the
presumably
bomb
dying,
coming.
and the bomb is coming up out of the floor right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they were in one and the same place. It just didn't. That's what I'm talking about. The
Yeah.
writing here was just all over the place.
And let me tell you, it's yeah, I don't know. I was expecting more out of this movie. Okay. Movie review for next week is Chaplin, the 1992 version, and the Robert Downey Jr. one. So I'm excited for
Yeah,
this. It's gonna be a good one.
I I was sitting there. I was debating between that and the other one that I sent you, which is a movie that would probably scare you.
Yeah, haunt me. Yeah,
Uh,
I'm still trying to get the
so
courage to watch The Quiet Place. So
so I threw Chaplin in there because I thought you had said before. I think I mentioned it before, and you said you'd never
mm,
seen it. And then with it being Robert Downey Jr., I was like, Tyler needs to see this movie. So
Oh,
yeah.
speaking of in TV, I watched the first episode of Sweet Tooth.
Did you?
Not for me. It's it's a little slow, and I see how it could be a decent show, but it's just not a Tyler show. So I'm gonna skip it.
No.
Yeah. But speaking of
I've
Netflix,
heard the.
Chris, let's jump into our
I've heard.
Netflix Geek Week.
Okay, we can do that. This is from Lifehacker.
And they're doing a good job with this one.
Lauren Rouse accumulated this. Um, I think Tyler's excited about this too.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Shadow and Bone. Right, you've watched this, correct?
Yes. And this is the announcement I've been waiting for.
Seeing as it raked in a stellar 55 million viewers in its first month, it comes as no surprise Netflix is bringing back Shadow and Bone for a second season. There are plenty more books in the Grishaverse waiting to be adapted, and it looks like the cast are just as excited as we are about their return.
And
So you're getting your season 2.
finally, and I don't know why it took so long for them to announce it, unless they were waiting, exclusively for this, which it could be a thing. Because this is the first announcement they launched the week off with. So
Yeah. Next up's the Umbrella Academy. Season 3 is coming, and to get us all excited, Netflix unveiled all 10 episode titles, which fans of the graphic novel may recognize. So here are those titles: Meet the Family, World's Biggest Ball of Twine, Pocketful of Lightning, Kugelblitz, Kindest Cut, Marigold, Auf Wiedersehen, Wedding at the End of the World, Six Bells, and Oblivion.
all in.
Any thoughts on that?
No, I'm just
All
ready
in.
for that show too. I never read the graphic novel, so none of the titles really mean anything to me. But
Right.
I'm really excited for this next season.
Next up, we have one starring Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet Girl. Jason Momoa is starring in the upcoming Netflix action film Sweet Girl. I have a feeling we'll probably review that one.
Yes.
About a devastated husband who vows to bring justice to the people responsible for his wife's death while protecting his only daughter. Netflix dropped the first images from the movie, which you can see if you go to Netflix Geeked. It's at Netflix Geeked on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Looks pretty cool.
Oh yeah, it's got a lot
Looks
of Taken
pretty.
vibes for me.
Yeah. I just have to pull up a close shot here. No, I think he's still got his long hair.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'll make some of the ladies happy.
He's not losing his long hair. That's one of his staples.
Yeah, but they could have put a
Cap
skull
over.
cap on
Yeah,
him and
that's true.
whatever. Next up is Blood Red Sky. It's a new horror film by Peter Thorwatch. Huh, Thorwatch.
It's an awesome last name.
It's got a cool last name. Uh, It follows a mysteriously ill woman flying with her young son who's forced to unleash a dark secret when terrorists attempt to hijack their transatlantic flight. That sounds really cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm
I
down
would
for that
watch
one.
that.
I'm down to watch that and review that one too.
We have to make note of these.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Vikings Valhalla. Vikings may have ended its sixth season late last year, but a spin-off over on Netflix has been in the works for a while. Netflix released a behind-the-scenes look at Vikings Valhalla with star Sam Corlett. The series is set 100 years after the original ends and embarks on a new journey following some of the most famous Vikings that ever lived.
I'm all
And again,
in.
you
I
can
can't
go to
wait.
at Netflix Geek and you can watch that little teaser. Then we have The Ice Road. Liam Neeson and Lawrence Fishburne team up to star in a film about ice road truckers on an impossible rescue mission over a frozen ocean to save trapped miners. Is one of them Liam Neeson's daughter? Because, in
But
every
can't
film,
catch a break.
it's how would it feel to be his kid, man?
Right.
Uh, always getting kidnapped. The Last Mercenary. Jean-Claude Van Damme's action comedy The Last Mercenary got a new trailer. It stars Van Damme as a former French Secret Service special agent turned mercenary who must reach out to his old contacts and join forces with a bunch of reckless youngsters when a mob operation threatens his son's life. I don't know. Eh,
Yeah.
eh,
Keep an
eh,
eye on that one.
eh, maybe. Then there's Kate. Mary Elizabeth Winstead's new film didn't get a trailer, but it did get a cool motion poster with a date announcement. Kate follows a ruthless criminal operative who, after being irreversibly poisoned, has less than 24 hours to exact revenge on her enemies and in the process forms an unexpected bond with the daughter of one of her past victims. You'll find it on Netflix on September the 10th.
It's a good day. September 10th is a real good day.
Yeah. And then here's Tyler's favorite news show, Sweet Tooth. If you're loving Sweet Tooth, the new fantasy series on Netflix, then the cast and crew have a surprise for you with a behind the scenes blooper reel, which apparently you can find on YouTube. Lock and Key.
Mm.
The first pictures from the highly anticipated second season of Lock and Key were revealed at Geek Week. It was also announced season 2 will be premiering in October.
It's a good show.
No set date for October, but October.
Mm-hmm.
Then this is one that could be interesting here. Uh, the Sandman. After years of saying it could never be done, Neil Gaiman's The Sandman is finally getting a live action adaptation. Netflix released the first behind the scenes look at the exciting DC comic adaptation.
That'll be one to
Again,
keep
this
your eye
looks
on.
like it's going to be on, yeah, because that's, how old were you when that came out? That would have been early 90s. Because I remember that blowing
91.
up when that hit. Yeah, you weren't around yet.
Mm-mm. Not bored.
Wow. God, I'm old. Next up, Another Life. A first look clip from the second season of space sci-fi Another Life, starring Katie Sackhoff, was shown off. They really should have phrased that differently. That's just
Yeah.
awkward to read.
That's.
Um, Cowboy Bebop. Fans are eagerly awaiting the arrival of the Cowboy Bebop adaptation on Netflix, and while we didn't get a trailer, we did learn that Yoko Kanno, the composer of the original anime, will also be creating the soundtrack for the new live-action series.
Which
It's
was a
set to
huge
debut this
deal.
spring.
A lot of people that watch the anime said that's a huge deal because of how good the music is in that show. So.
Right. Fear Street. Fans of teen horror master R.L. Stine have a lot to look forward to with Netflix's adaptation of Fear Street. The streamer is producing an entire trilogy of films based on the classic Fear Street books, and the first trailer is here to give you some chills.
Yeah,
Was that something you'll check out? You an
I
R.L.
might.
Stine fan?
We talked about that because like there's three of them, and I think they're doing it back to back to back each week. So I think we talked about that maybe 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks.
The School for Good and Evil. Another young adult fantasy adaptation, The School for Good and Evil follows a group of girls and boys who are taken to an institution and trained to become fairy tale like heroes and villains.
I will be paying
Okay.
attention to that.
Why would you train them to be a villain?
You know, why not?
You gotta have balance in the universe.
Right.
Awake stars Gina Rodriguez and Shamir Anderson in a new sci-fi film about a global event that wipes out humans' ability to sleep. The movie's streaming now on Netflix. That would suck.
Mm-hmm. That
You
would be
can't go to
horrible.
sleep. Oh man, it's Freddy Krueger's worst nightmare. Um, Black Summer. The second season of Jamie King's zombie apocalypse drama is coming to Netflix on June the 17th, and a new clip was dropped during Geek Week. So, I have not seen that yet.
Mm-mm.
Here's one both Tyler and I are familiar with. I'm not caught up like he is. Lucifer. Season 5B of Lucifer debuted but a few weeks ago. And if you're already missing the charming devil, you'll enjoy this new blooper reel. Cast also reunited over Zoom to participate in a table read of the original pilot episode.
Which I did get to
And you
watch it.
watched that,
And it was
correct?
awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Stranger Things. This show's, you might have heard of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
a little popular. It's been a million years since Stranger Things 3, but rest assured season 4 is coming. Creators, the Duffer Brothers, welcomed a bunch of new members, including Anna with an E's Amy Beth McNulty to the Stranger Things 4
Yep. She
cast.
plays a little
There's
basketball
also
player.
the announcement, yeah, there was also the announcement that everyone's favorite character, Robin, aka Maya Hawke, will get her own scripted fiction podcast and companion novel.
Really milking the money
That's
for
pretty
that.
cool. Now, for all you Kevin Smith fans, Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Did you see the
Fans
trailer
of
for
the
this?
old He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoons, I have not
It's
seen the
good.
trailer yet.
It's
No,
real good.
I, it's here uh, below the story, so once we're done, I'll watch it. Fans of the old He-Man and the Masters of the Universe cartoons are in luck because the classic animation is back and better than ever in the 21st century. Here's the brand new trailer featuring all the 80s synth and Skeletor you could ask for.
It looks so
Yeah,
good, Chris.
that's gonna be. It's so weird because I was a kid when that came out,
Mm-hmm.
and to have enjoyed it originally, and then it died for so like it got the live action movie that wasn't great that starred Dolph Lundgren and Courtney Cox,
Mm-hmm.
and then it died for so many years, and now there's all this hoopla about it again. It's like, what in
I
the
think it's dude.
world?
I think Kevin
But
Smith
I
is
like it.
one of the big reasons for that.
Yeah, definitely. Twilight of the Gods. Zack Snyder's diving into the animation world with his unique take on Norse mythology. Twilight of the Gods features an all-star cast in the role of famous Norse gods, including Odin, Loki, and Thor.
Mm.
And I'm actually seeing here, I do want to touch on, because the cast for this, you've got John Noble as
Mm-hmm.
Odin, which very nice. I liked his work on Sleepy Hollow and oh, what was the one with Joshua Jackson? That was on Fox, I think,
Fringe.
TV series. Uh, Fringe. Yeah, he was very good in that too. Um, Patterson Joseph as Loki, Corey Stoll as Ravna. Yeah, I'm not even attempting. Jamie Chung as Hell. Um, Lauren Cohen is in this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm sure some of these people, other people know, but I'm just
Peter
going with the names that
Stormare,
jump out
Rahul
at me.
Kohli.
Yeah, Rahul Kohli is in this. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
That's going to be definitely worth a watch. Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. Now, Netflix is diving into the Resident Evil world with a new anime series that features stunning lifelike animation.
Dude, some of those scenes you
Okay.
cannot tell it's an animated adaptation. Like there's some scenes that look real. They did a good job with
Well,
it.
even the little shot here that's like the splash for the video, it, it looks like a picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's next up is Arcane. Day 5 of Geek Week covered all things video games, and that included some brand new images from Arcane, an animated series set in the world of League of Legends.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to go through the game stuff, or do you want to?
I
Okay.
can.
I I didn't know if you wanted to do that or what, because it looks like some of this is mixed in,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah,
Cuphead
day
here.
5. So like each day they did a themed thing. Like
Mhm.
Thursday was animated stuff, and Friday was the last day was all about video games. So this Arcane is from the world of League of Legends. A lot of people were excited about this one because they just had a show come out that did Dota, and so it's kind of the same thing. And it looks good with the little images they showed. Next up, we have Cuphead. The Cuphead show got its first sneak peek plus the announcement that Wayne Brady is voicing King Dice, and that was very cool to watch because everyone's been wondering what the cast is going to be like and what it's going to look like. And the clip they showed looks like it's from the game, which the game has that classic. I don't know what decade or period it covers, but it
like 30s or
yeah,
40s.
and color and everything. It looks really good, and they looks just like the video game. So a lot of people are excited about that one. Next up, we had Ubisoft Animations. They came with a slew of news. 3 animated series based on hit Ubisoft games were detailed this week. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell is being adapted by Netflix with John Wick writer Derek Kolstad behind the wheel. That's going to be a good one to watch. Everyone's been waiting for Splinter Cell, and we never got any game-related news to it this week. So, only Splinter Cell thing we got was this. Then we got Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix, is based on a popular Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon spinoff and features plenty of 90s nostalgia. And then finally, a third animated series based on Far Cry itself is in the works with Netflix, although there are no details about which games will follow or if it'll be a totally new story. I imagine it'll be a new story with things wrapped in from the games, little cameos, if you will.
Yeah.
And then the big one that everyone was waiting for was The Witcher. Okay, the little thing.
Never heard of it.
Right. Finally, the thing we've been waiting for, The Witcher Season 2. While Netflix didn't reveal a full trailer, it did release a snippet focusing entirely on Freya Allan's Ciri. Didn't get a whole lot out of this and tried to comb through it and see anything. Nothing crazy. Just, but I mean, they just wrapped filming, so we're not going to get a whole lot yet. I was hoping for a release date. Didn't get that either. Let's see. Fans won't have to wait long, however, because Netflix also announced a dedicated WitcherCon event on July 9th in collaboration with CD Projekt Red. That's probably what we can expect, a trailer, release date, and more from The Witcher. Don't know why they're doing a WitcherCon. Does not make much sense. It sounds like CD Projekt Red's like, hey, we've got a bunch of bad press on us now. Let's do something to get some fans back involved.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that's exactly it. They're like, let's make people forget Cyberpunk.
Yeah. And so that is all of the announcements and things shown at Netflix Geek Week. I hope we get more in the future because that was fun. They did a great production value with it. I mean, hey, Jeff Keighley on Friday. They are announcing things. Rahul Kohli was there the whole week. It was good. A lot of fun. As far as TV releases this week, we've got iCarly, the revival, coming out on Paramount Plus on Thursday, June 17th. I want to watch it, but I am not getting another streaming service. So,
Right, yeah. And for the film releases this week, we have Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard
I do want
out
to see
in
that.
theaters, June 16th. We have Luca on Disney Plus,
I'll
June
be watching
18th.
it this
That
week.
looks fun.
I'm watching it.
Peter Rabbit, yeah?
Yeah.
Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, in theaters in the U.S. on June 18th. And In the Heights, UK cinema, June 18th.
Almost
So
watched it this week.
there you go. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Luca does look really good, though.
Yeah, I'm going to watch that because Kind of Funny's doing a Pixar interview, and it's free, so on Disney Plus. Other things here, we've got games as always. We're going to go through the E3 of what's been announced, and we're going to go through each of the big conferences, up until now, and talk about things what we're excited for. But first, what we've been playing, I have maybe put 5 hours or so into Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is the
How's
new,
that?
dude? It's great. Like, oh, dude, a lot of people are saying this is the first big PlayStation 5 game that truly utilizes everything, and I agree. The DualSense is the coolest controller in the world, especially hold on, my dog in the room.
With the haptic.
Oh, dude, it's absolutely wonderful.
I love the haptic.
Yeah, and this game shows it off like on a whole nother level. The visual, I've got it in performance mode because of course you can pick what mode you want in, visuals or performance. I've got it in performance and it still looks good. The ray tracing is phenomenal. The story is a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to play it again. It's one of those games that I know it's only like 12 hours long. I'm gonna platinum it as well, and it's just fun. And the haptic though is some of the coolest things. And I don't have a 3D audio headset, but I've got Turtle Beaches that I use for it. And the sound's great. The visuals are fun. It's fun to play, easy to play. But I advise everybody, it's well worth the $70 price tag for it that we're seeing with our new PlayStation games.
Yeah. And it's also on my list, by the way. I I told Tyler before the show, I've watched most of the conferences probably up to this point, if not all of them. And I've got a list a lot longer than I expected of games that I either know I want to play or games that I'm interested in seeing more from as we get closer
Mhm.
to their release dates. So
I can't wait to hear them. We'll talk about them all, and stop me once we get there because I want to know exactly which ones. So let's dive right into this. We're going to IGN.com for all their coverage, and this is of course by Kevin Lee, and he's been updating this every single conference. So we'll get right into this one. Of course, we start off Thursday with Summer Game Fest Kickoff Live, and I'm reading directly from the article for all of this. Jeff Keighley's Kickoff Live kicked off the E3 2021 festivities with a bang by first announcing Tiny Tina's Wonderland, a high fantasy take on Borderlands with D&D style dice rolls. Wonderlands will also feature a star-studded cast including Will Arnett, Andy Samberg, Wanda Sykes, and Ashley Birch. Of course, Ashley Birch being a phenomenal voice actress and a whole lot of things. This one I'm looking at, I might not buy day one, but I will be playing it because I have played all the Borderlands. We also saw a new trailer for Metal Slug Tactics and Jurassic World Evolution 2. Hideo Kojima made a guest.
World.
Are you excited about that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That game has been in every single conference, by the way, besides Xbox. Hideo Kojima made a guest appearance on the virtual stage and dropped a trailer for Death Stranding Director's Cut coming to the PlayStation 5. Sable announced its September 23rd, 2021 release date following an amazing musical performance by Japanese Breakfast. Lost Ark, a Korean MMO, announced it's finally getting a Western release later this fall. Call of Duty Warzone released a new Season 4 trailer showing off new footage of zombies invading the Battle Royale game, which is, Warzone huge right now. Among Us developer Inner Sloth also showed off a new hide-and-seek game mode, new in-game roles, new cosmetics, and a teaser for 5 new maps. If you've been waiting for a new side-scroller Souls-like game, the creators of Salt and Sanctuary debuted Salt and Sacrifice with a reveal trailer. I've got my eye on Salt and Sacrifice. I'm not big into side-scrollers, but that one looked good, so I've got my eyes on it. Annapurna dropped a new trailer for its third-person platformer with Shadow of the Colossus vibes called Solar Ash. So, the world's shortest tease, it gave us a first look at a new Valorant character coming soon. That's been in the media for a while. 2 Point Campus was announced as the latest management simulator from the great minds behind 2 Point Hospital.
I'm curious just to mess with that and see what it is.
It looked fun.
You know?
I mean, if it comes to Game Pass, I'll play it. Smite unveiled a new trailer for its latest cross-media tie-in with Stranger Things, full of multiple skins and other cosmetics.
I want to check that out too.
Cook Media announced Prime Label, its new publishing label, and its plans to release 12 new games, including Payday 3, plus a new Gungrave title and a Painkiller title. Anacrusis was introduced as a new Left 4 Dead style co-op shooter headed by former Valve writer Chet Felicet. A new Tales of Arise trailer gave us a bigger look at the upcoming game's characters, abilities, and more. Keeping my eye on that one. I've played one of the Tales games. I've never finished it, but apparently it's a real popular series. F9 cars, including in the new rocket-powered Pontiac Fiero, are coming to Rocket League. Blood Hunt is a new Battle Royale game set in Vampire the Masquerade universe that debuted with a trailer and open alpha before the game released later this year. Keeping my eye on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
That game company announced Sky, Children of the Light, will be coming to Nintendo Switch on June 29th, complete with a new trailer. Planet of Lana is a cinematic puzzle adventure with a water-painted aesthetic that will release on Game Pass and be exclusive to Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. Aaron Keller from Blizzard made a guest appearance to show off the new Overwatch 2 character models for Baptiste and Sombra. Capcom presented a new trailer for Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin, the second turn based RPG spin off of the original Monster Battling games. And we got our first look at Endless Dungeon, a new roguelike and tower defense mashup. Tunic showed off a small sliver of the demo coming to Xbox this week. And long after its Game Awards announcement, we finally got to see the extended look at the gameplay of Evil Dead, the game. And it looks like a third-person zombie action Dead Rising fan games will love.
Definitely want to play that.
That's gonna be a must play. You could look forward to even more zombie games soon as Call of Duty Zombies creators Jason Blundell and Dave Anthony announced they're starting a new studio in partnership with Sony called Deviation Games. A little weird seeing this because they just now announced that this was their announcement that they're making a studio, and they started getting people in, so there's not anything to even talk about with them, that they just made a new studio. So, and lastly, the Summer Game Fest Kickoff Live ended with a world premiere of Elden Ring. From the reveal trailer, we can see the game will have plenty of fantastical monsters to slay, and the game also has a January 21st, 2022 release date. That was the biggest thing from that whole conference that a lot of people loved.
Yeah.
We already talked about Netflix.
And that's also on my list.
It's a hard game. The Soulsborne games are horribly hard, so be ready for that.
Now, did you say you have or haven't played some of the Dark Pictures?
I have not played
anthology.
I haven't played any of those. I played the one with the one for PlayStation 4. What was that one? I'm blanking on the name of it. It had Jeffrey Ward. Until Dawn. I did play that one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna go back and play the other two and get ready for, what was it? House of Ashes.
Mm-hmm. House of Ashes.
Was that the?
I mean, I've heard they're good. It's gonna be fun, but.
Yeah.
Again, there's so many games in my backlog with work and everything. It's so hard to get to any of these games. Continuing on, IGN Expo 2021. The game announcements just keep on piling on, and this time they're coming straight from IGN Expo. First up, Big Rumble Boxing Creed Champions is a brand new boxing game for the Creed and Rocky franchise that releases on September 3rd. If you've been looking for another co-op survival game, you're in luck with Survival Machine. The game debuted with a trailer showing off the low poly art style, plus some gathering and crafting gameplay before ending on some tower defense action. Sounds like there's a bunch in there for a lot of people. I've been told I need to play this game. Coming out on June 30th, Doki Doki Literature Club Plus is an expanded version of the original 2017 visual novel game, but don't think the game is just a dating simulator as things take a quick turn into a horror show. I've heard, like, the art, it looks like a little animated, like an anime, but everyone says it is really good. Like, it's, from start to finish, a really good game. Tiny Tina.
Check that out.
Yeah, it looks fun, and now it's getting a physical release, so I might have to get that one. Tiny Tina might have debuted on the Kickoff Live, but IGN is here to bring you more details on how the game is set shortly after the Borderlands 2 DLC expansion, Assault of Dragon Keep. Also, unlike traditional Borderlands games, you'll play as your own completely original character with multiple character class options. Weapons also aren't just guns, but melee weapons and spells. That's pretty cool. The fight against zombies continue with World War Z Aftermath, which is an enhanced edition of the Saber Interactive's original co-op zombie horde shooter. The game will include everything from the Game of the Year edition of World War Z and add new characters, melee combat, enemies, a first-person mode, and 4K 60 frame per s enhancements for the latest consoles. Awesome. Dimfrost Studio has officially announced their intense horror platformer Bramble the Mountain King with gameplay reminiscent of Limbo and Little Nightmares. Conversely, Skatebird is a much more lighthearted game, all about skateboarding as a little bird, and will release on August 12th. Keep my eye on that one. I need more skate games in my life. Switching from just digital games, Arcade 1UP announced 3 new arcade cabinets for Street Fighter II and Turtles in Times fans, plus a Miss Pac-Man Galaga combo machine. I want the Turtle in Time one. Just putting it out there. The Forgotten City was first developed as a Skyrim mod, but now this time-looping murder mystery game set in Ancient Room is releasing as a full game on July 28th. Splitgate is... Yeah, you can check that one out.
Yeah.
Splitgate is finally coming to consoles on July 27th, and to celebrate the occasion, developer 1047 dropped a new release trailer. Core Keeper is a new debut 2D mining and base building gaming game coming to PC later this year as a Steam Early Access title. It's a literal battle of the bands, an audio clash battle of the bands, an auto battler strategy game coming to Steam Early Access in Q3 2021. Blacktail is the debut game from a brand new game studio, The Parasite, that stars the mythical Baba Yaga in a first-person action adventure. Death's Gambit Afterlife is an expanded action platformer coming to Switch later this year. The Skypunk airship battler Black Skylance has announced its new Steam Early Access release date of July 9th. Steel Rising, the alternate history game set amid the French Revolution, revealed more of its storyline today. Unbound Worlds Apart, a Metroidvania game revolving around portals, announced its July 28th release date. And that was it for the IGN Expo. A lot there. Not a lot that I'm really looking forward to. But next one we have Guerrilla Collective Showcase. The Guerrilla Collective Showcase brought forth all the indie games you could possibly want. I like how they did this one, by the way. The stream started off with showing off Origami 2, the second stealth action game from Lynchworks, and has a September 17th launch date. I am getting this one. Fire Girl dropped with a trailer showing the 2.5D firefighting action, and it looks like you'll be able to use a water hose like a jetpack to fly and traverse. Batora Lost Haven is a part hack and slash and part twin stick shooter. Grime debuted with a strange or seductive trailer and introduced a protagonist you play as a walking black hole. BPM, Bullets Per Minute, is a rhythm-based first-person shooter that Metal Hellsinger fans are sure to love, and it's available this summer. Akatori looks to be a 2D-based action platformer where you'll play as a staff-wielding monk. Arc Veil is bringing intense overhead bullet hell action to the Switch and Steam later this year. No Longer Home is a narrative adventure game where you'll essentially live through the life of the devs as they go through college and other life-changing experiences. Hunt the Night is a 2D overhead action adventure game coming to PC and consoles. The card-based adventure game Black Book is coming to Steam soon. Demon's Mirror is a deck-building puzzle game coming to Steam. Loot Rive might look like a... Do you care about any of the rest of these indie Guerrilla Collective games? Because there's a lot, and just a lot of this article is just saying it's coming soon, and just says what the game is.
Yeah. I mean, if you're good with...
Okay, yeah, I'm good with skipping that one.
Skipping those, we can.
Ubisoft Forward is the next big one, which was essentially this is like the biggest one that highlighted E3. Ubisoft Forward is the first major show of E3. Man, I just need to kind of keep my mouth shut and start reading the article. With newly announced AAA games and first look gameplay of previously announced titles. Rainbow Six threw down the gauntlet first with a cinematic trailer for the new Extraction expansion releasing on September 16th. It looks like operators will have plenty of new tools, including a lightning shooting claymore plus a new React light and knife. All equipment will be upgradable as they play, too. Players won't have all their operators at first either. They'll have to extract them from captivity first, which is an awesome way to do this. Rainbow Six is also getting a PC and Stadia crossplay update on June 30th, and then crossplay for all platforms is coming early 2022. Rocksmith Plus is a new subscription service that takes music games to the next level with music learning programming created in partnership with Gibson Guitars. The game uses your smartphone as a microphone so you can use an acoustic or electric guitar without any additional equipment, which is awesome.
I'll actually check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Austin Creed is learning to play bass from Rocksmith. So that's pretty cool. And with it's
a really good... Yeah, it's a really good way to learn.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Because, I mean, especially just with your phone, you just download an app and play the guitar. So, and it teaches you. Yeah. Riders Republic is the latest extreme outdoor game from Ubisoft. The game debuted with a gameplay trailer showing activities like mountain biking, windsuit flying, and snowboarding. Instead of just going on tracks, it looks like Riders Republic will revolve around open-world gameplay similar to Forza Horizon 4 and The Crew 2. Keeping my eyes on that one, I'll probably get it because it looks like a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. Like 64-person races between all this stuff. Looks so much fun. Some news that really excited me. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, The Siege of Paris got a new feature trailer showing off the new setting, weapons, and other equipment players can expect. The Discovery Tour is another free update coming this fall and will let you play as NPCs living through their daily life you get history lessons on the setting and time period of this world. Now, what excites me about that was Origins and Odyssey did this as well. And Chris, it is some of the coolest stuff because the amount of research that goes into these Assassin's Creed games and the lifestyles of these games are phenomenal. And I know of history professors and high school teachers that are using those discovery tours to teach this era and things like that because
Yeah.
it's so well done.
So real quick, let me ask you because I heard that I think it was on Access the Animus, or maybe it was somewhere else. I heard that they were talking about the next Assassin's Creed game, and they were saying that they're planning for it to be even more immersive and expansive
Mm,
than anything that they've done before. There's already been people complaining about the length
yeah.
of Origins and Valhalla. So, what do you think?
I,
Should they go that way, or should
I
they say,
honestly,
"Look, we're going to give you a main story that wraps up in 12 hours, and if you want to do this other stuff, you can."
yeah, I think they need to make it shorter because Valhalla was long, and I'm still not like I've beaten all the main stuff of it, and there's still more for me to do. Like I still have, well, obviously the DLC I haven't gotten it yet, but the some of the Valhalla and Jotunheim stuff I haven't even done. So I'm just like I can't. There's just I've done the main story and everything. I want to 100% the game at some point, but there's just so much to that game, and I mean you're getting your money's worth 100%, but it is
Yeah.
too long. I agree, it's too
I
long.
mean, my attitude toward it is if you're going to keep giving us these expansions, then the initial drop of the game needs like a 10-hour
Yeah,
storyline playthrough, and then we know we have expansions coming.
and I never
Anyway,
thought I would ever say that about an Assassin's Creed game, but here we are. Speaking of that, following that, Ubisoft has promised to deliver more expansions for a second year of Assassin's Creed Valhalla content. We got another look at Far Cry 6 with a story trailer showing off the performance chops of Giancarlo Esposito's Anton Castillo. It also appears players will be able to play as Voss, Pagan Min, and Joseph Seed as part of Far Cry 6's Season Pass content. And then this game got leaked before the show. Ubisoft also announced Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope with a cinematic trailer moving beyond the Mushroom Kingdom. Mario and his cohorts have just arrived on an alien planet to a dark force taking over the galaxy. There are also plenty of new weapons, including Mario's new set of dual guns, Peach's umbrella, and a Buster Sword of sorts. The gameplay has also been changed to free movement within a circle instead of using a grid of squares. Um,
hmm,
Now, one thing to point out here, it didn't say what this was coming, what it was coming to. Obviously, it's coming to the Switch because that's where the first one is on, and it's Nintendo. Uh, but they said the last time Ubisoft did anything like that, like their conference before the new consoles released, I forget what game it was, but they did not say what it was being released on. Then the next couple of days, Xbox One and PlayStation 4 got announced. So they're saying this is what our another heavy hint that we're getting a Switch Pro. So, and then the last surprise of the show was a new Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game. So far, I've only seen a cinematic trailer, but it looks like we'll be able to explore the vast world of Pandora from the eyes of Navi protagonist. This has been heavily rumored.
it's one that's on my list.
Yes, it looks
Yeah.
so good. Oh man, it looks so good. And this is also a lot of people are saying, oh, Avatar might not be for you, but this is also going to be the same studio that does the Star Wars game for Ubisoft, and you saw how good this looks, and the same engine
Right.
and everything. So keep that in mind. And that was the Ubisoft Forward. I enjoyed that conference. We're not even going to talk about the Gearbox Entertainment presentation because it was a joke. And then, of course, let's go into our last one for this week before we go into. I know we're going to do Square Enix, so we'll do Xbox and Bethesda showcase. Really, this was the best part of the showcase out of all of them so far. They did such a good job. Starting off, surprisingly, the showcase did not start with Phil Spencer, but instead started with Bethesda's Todd Howard. Starfield was first to bat, despite leaking mere minutes before the show was announced. Made me so mad. It was announced.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Washington Post. Garbage. Um, it was announced as an Xbox exclusive coming to Game Pass November 11th, 2022. So,
We
looks
gotta wait, but
yeah. Oh, it's gonna be
it
so
does
good.
look good.
It's their next. I mean, I love Bethesda. There's no wrong they can do with this game. Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl showed off an extended gameplay trailer and we're shown a load of different scenarios from the game. From the footage, it looks like the new game will be all about raiding enemy camps, exploring the irradiated overworld, diving into the monster dens, and some surprisingly intricate cinematic dialogue scenes. That game looked awesome. I am going to keep my eye on that one.
Yeah.
And in this game,
Yeah,
I know
it's on my list too.
I'm gonna lose a lot of hours into this game, this next one. Back for Blood dropped in with an October 12th release date and a new cinematic trailer that also announced a new Swarm vs. Survivor mode. Oh, and it's also coming to Game Pass and a Xbox exclusive. Huge.
A lot of the games that they showcased here, it said would be, up on drop, immediately available on Game Pass and stuff like that.
Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. It's the best deal, period. Contraband, a new co-op open world game from Avalanche Studios, debuted with a new cinematic trailer, and it seems like it's trying to evoke a fun apocalyptic setting. Sea of Thieves announced a new A Pirate's Life expansion featuring the Pirates of the Caribbean's Captain Jack. I'm so stoked for that. That comes out later in June. I can't wait. We got our...
Put both those down.
Oh, they're good. Oh, I can't wait. We got our first look at Battlefield 2042 multiplayer today, and now we have a better look at each specialist tools like the grappling hook and wingsuit. Battlefield 2042 also announced it's going to be an Xbox console exclusive. Wait, what? That is not true. It's not a Xbox console exclusive. That's coming to the PlayStation. I don't know why that was put in there. Anyways, 12 Minutes revealed a new trailer for its time looping puzzle game and announced it'll be a day one release on Xbox Game Pass on August 19th. You in for that one?
That's one I want to mess. Yeah.
New Psychonauts 2 footage arrived today with a new cinematic trailer, and the game finally has a release date of August 25th. I thought that was going to be released yesterday. I thought that was going to be dropped.
Yeah.
Because everything pointed to it, but I guess we'll have to
It
wait
looks really good.
Yeah. The first one was fun. I played that on PlayStation 2. Yeah. Fallout 76 is getting a big Brotherhood of Steel-focused expansion called Steel Rain on July 7th. Welcome to the Pit was also teased as a new upcoming Fallout 76 expansion, which seems like it'll add a new map to explore outside of the game's main Appalachia setting. Save Your Family in the new isometric puzzle game called Somerville, arriving in 22 as an Xbox Game Pass release. We finally got to see more... the Somerville? You looking at that one?
Yeah, it looked a little interesting. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'll have to see.
Yeah. Keep your eye on it at least.
Yeah.
We finally got to see more Halo Infinite with a new story trailer that basically tells us Cortana is back. Also, Halo Infinite multiplayer is confirmed to be free to play, and we saw the return of the Chopper. Plenty of weapons and armor customization were shown also, and the game was announced as a Day 1 Xbox Game Pass release. We did not get a game release date for this, except it said Holiday 2021.
No, yeah. Which has to make you nervous with the delays that they've had. It means they're not ready to commit to a date.
But we are getting...
Which is bad because some of these other games...
Yeah, already have dates released and everything. Like, I don't know, man. It makes me nervous.
Yeah.
But they are doing a multiplayer stream today of Halo, so maybe we'll see more of it. Because that'll be in a couple hours, actually. We got our first glimpse of Diablo 2 Resurrected with a new cinematic trailer, new visual, 4K to 60 frames per second gameplay, and a September 23 release date. I played a lot of 3, which is my first iteration into it, and I cannot wait for this one. I'm going to spend a lot of hours in it. I already know I am. Slime Rancher 2 was also announced and will come in 2022. Shredders, a new snowboarding game, is coming to Xbox Series X and S as a console exclusive in December 2021. A Plague Tale Requiem, the second action-adventure survival horror stealth game from Asobo Studio, has been announced as a 2022 release. Looks great.
Gotta check that out. Yeah.
Far Cry 6.
All those rats.
Oh, dude, that was horrifying. And it's that one person just standing there. Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
That's going to be one to see more of. Far Cry 6 announced it's going to be a console launch exclusive, and it showed off another gameplay trailer. Atomic Heart got a new musical cinematic trailer while announcing it will be a console launch exclusive and be available on Xbox Game Pass on day one. Venture through a 2D apocalyptic landscape in the newly announced Replaced game coming in 2022. That looked good as well. Obsidian Entertainment announced a new Shroom and Doom update for Grounded that will add sitting in a new Broodmother spider boss. No thank you. Among Us announced it will be bringing 15-player lobbies on June 15th to Xbox Game Pass. The developers behind Suikoden and Suikoden 2 sadly announced Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes has been delayed until 2023, but at least we got to see some footage of the game. Age of Empire 4 announced it will release on October 28th and will be available through Xbox Game Pass on day one. The Outer Worlds 2 has been announced for Xbox Series X and S in a comical fourth wall breaking teaser trailer. Chris, This is mind blowing because that game came out in 2019. This game has no reason to be announced already, but because Obsidian is doing so much, but the first one was a lot of fun and really good gameplay, and this one's only gonna be better. But they had no right.
It looked really good. I'm definitely gonna check it out. I'll probably check out Age of Empire too. I like those world building games, so you know.
Microsoft Flight Simulator dropped in a new trailer showing off its visual splendor and announced its arrival on Xbox Series X and S on July 27th. I'm pretty sure it's a Game Pass game as well. Microsoft also announced a Top Gun expansion is coming later this December 2021. I'll probably play it once and then fly over my house and then say, okay, I'm kind of done. Just fly over the interesting points, you know what I mean? And then this second to last thing was incredible. Forza Horizon 5 debuted with a jaw-dropping trailer showing off its new setting in Mexico and announced a November 7th release date. The game has plenty of new party features, including a pinata pop minigame and customizable maps. Beautiful.
The pinata pop looked fun.
Yeah. I'm not a big racing game guy, but I will be playing this. There were several times they were just showing the landscape, and you could not tell it was a video game until the cars came into the game. I was like, this is absolutely stunning. And, it's going to be so much fun on the Xbox. And then lastly, Arcane Austin announced its latest work, a new vampire hunting shooter called Redfall. Arriving this summer, it looks like it'll have a great mix of supernatural spells and guns that shoot wooden stakes. That was a huge drop.
Looked pretty good.
Yeah. I'm checking it out. And no one knew that was coming because they announced all the big stuff early on in the show, so we didn't know what to expect. And then our last one that had our last big one from Saturday and Sunday was Square Enix. Square Enix Presents Summer 2021 was a jam-packed show and it dove headfirst into a new Marvel game, Guardians of the Galaxy. Cannot wait for this one. This isn't just a big update for Marvel's Avengers, but rather a completely new game featuring the whole cast, including Peter Quill, Drax, Gamora, Rocket Raccoon, and Groot. And Peter Quill is the only character you control, which I thought was a weird way to do it, but it looks fun. And I'm in. Bring it here, and I'm ready for it.
Two things.
Yep.
Now, when I watched this, I told you before the show, I watched the Alana Pierce reaction video of the conference, and some people in her chat, and she agreed with him. The Drax voiceover did not sound great. It just sounded odd. But also, did you notice, like, as you're succeeding at fighting the bad guys, you get this feedback right above the bar, and it's like fantastic, uncanny, and I'm thinking Fantastic Four, Uncanny X-Men.
They did that on purpose.
They're already setting us up for it. Yeah.
I'm excited about it. The game didn't look the best at parts for me. It just didn't look done. Yeah. But then again, this is our first time seeing it, and it's coming out later this year. But I want to see who.
I wish there was a way. I wish there was a way for us to get the actual cinematic actors.
Yeah.
In the games. I mean, make it part of the contract.
Yeah. Too much money. You know how they do.
How much they make.
Right. The game looks like it'll have a lengthy single-player campaign and won't fall into the same multiplayer live game pitfalls that Marvel's Avengers made. The lengthy gameplay trailer showed us the first part of a gameplay level, and it looks like you'll get to see some pretty exotic alien planets. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like you'll be able to switch between the characters yet, but you can pull off a super mode with all of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Final Fantasy fans will be glad to hear that the first 6 games will be coming back as a Pixel Remaster collection. They'll be available on Steam and mobile. I will probably play that on mobile just to try it out. Legend of Mana announced it'll be available on June 24th with a new teaser trailer that shows us more of its animated cinematic. Not to be forgotten, Marvel's Avengers revealed a continuation of the main story campaign that will come later this month. Wasteland Patrol starring Hawkeye will come in July. Then in August, we'll finally be able to play as Black Panther, and that's the only thing that's going to get me back into the game is Black Panther. So, and then I'll catch up on all the stuff I've missed, but Black Panther is the only thing I'm looking forward to. Babylon's Fall is a brand new hack and slash action game from the Platinum Games developers who worked on Nier Automata. This time, instead of a post-apocalyptic age of machines, you'll be battling out with huge monsters and deities in a high fantasy setting. It will also constantly be updated as a live service game and support co-op gameplay.
That looked really interesting to me.
I'm keeping my eyes on that one. Square Enix also showed off the Life is Strange Remaster collection with a longer look at the game's enhanced graphics and announced its September 25th release date. Keep an eye on that one. We also got a new trailer for Life is Strange, True Colors, that will launch on September 10th. Also a really good day. September and October is going to be a big 2 months for video games. There's a lot. And usually it's the time anyways, but there's going to be a lot to get. Lastly, Team Ninja showed off A Stranger of Paradise, a Final Fantasy origin, as its retelling of Final Fantasy 1 with Souls-like action combat. Aside from some overly aggressive dialogue, the game looks like it'll offer fantastically smooth combat on your quest to kill Chaos with your 2 other prophesized warriors of light. And that is all of the big E3 shows so far. Of course, we've got the Nintendo Direct on Tuesday, and that's going to be the biggest thing to watch.
They did have one that I've got it on my list. I think they missed listing it there. Hitman Sniper.
Oh, they did miss that one, yeah. That's a mobile game, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
No,
it's a new story.
It might be.
For it.
But I'm like, yeah, I'll probably check that out.
A lot of fun games. I mean, that's what I love about E3. We get to see so much and a lot of these things. But Chris, man, that's it for our show. We're going to have a lot more E3 announcements and things to talk about on our next episode. Hopefully we actually get some more movie news and things like that, other than we've got Geek Week. But that, guys, is all we have for this episode. We've got a good long hour and 40-minute episode for y'all to listen, to watch, and to enjoy. But it was packed full of information. And let us know down in the comments what your favorite out of Geek Week was, and what your favorite game you're looking forward to out of your E3, and what was your favorite concert so far. I'm curious to see what you all thought and what you are all looking forward to watching and playing. Weezer, that was a good performance.
Yeah.
So
had to be Weezer.
Yeah. But guys, thank you all so much for listening and watching this show. Don't forget to subscribe on whatever platform you are. If you're on audio services, don't forget to subscribe there. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube if you're watching there as well. Guys, you follow us on social media. You can follow the NerdWide account at nerd_wide. You can follow me at Ty_Haynes. And you can follow Chris at MavTN7. But as always, this has been NerdWide Podcast, episode 29. And we cannot wait to show you our thoughts next week on Nintendo Conference, because I've got a lot of good thoughts I think are going to happen with that one. And I can't wait to see you guys. Stay safe and make sure you get vaxxed.
Later, guys.